Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV. Mini PCs used to be a super awesome value proposition, but lately it's been a bit challenging given all of the supply constraints, but I'm still finding stuff worth talking about. This one is the GMKTec K17. It is around $550 or so, and it has a decent onboard GPU, and it is super quiet. And so I thought I would give it a run here and show you what it's all about in just a second. But I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, this came in free of charge from GMKTec. However, they did not review or approve what you're about to see before it was uploaded. All of the opinions you're about to hear are my own, and no other compensation was received. So let's take a look at it now and see what this mini PC is all about. Now, this mini PC is powered by an Intel Core Ultra 5 226V processor. That is a Lunar Lake chip. It is very efficient from a power perspective, only 5 watts under idle conditions and about 48 watts under load. So it really doesn't consume all that much power, but as you'll see in a few minutes, it does perform quite well, even for more intense kinds of things like gaming. It unfortunately, though, has soldered memory. This might be where some of you tune out. It's got 16 gigabytes of DDR5X 8533 RAM, but it cannot be upgraded. You can, though, upgrade the storage. It does have 2 NVMe 2280 slots on board, both PCI Express 4. And it does, of course, have a hard drive installed. Mine had a 1 terabyte drive. There's also a second slot available on the left-hand side there for putting more storage in, so you can do dual booting or whatever. One thing that I did notice, though, is that the Wi-Fi antennas are on the bottom of the case, and you have to be careful pulling up the bottom. Otherwise, those antennas get disconnected, and it did take me a little while to get that little plug plugged back in. Now, it does have a number of ports on board, but you do have to pay attention to the labels on here. So the USB-A port on the left here will support 10 gigabit per second connections, but this one only supports 5 gigabits per second. You can see there's a little 10 on the label there. This is a USB 4 port that runs at 40 gigabits per second. It is compatible with Thunderbolt devices, and it's full service. So you could use this as a power input along with a video output, and of course supporting USB-C and Thunderbolt devices, again up to 40 gigabits per second. So it's nice to see a full service port there. This is a headphone microphone jack. You got your power button here, a Kensington lock slot on this side, nothing on the other side. And then on the back, we've got a USB 2.0 port for plugging in your keyboard. And then you've got 3 USB-A ports that are all only 5 gigabits per second each. The HDMI output here will support 8K at 60 frames per second, but the other one is 4K at 60 frames per second. But you can get 3 total display outputs using the USB 4 port here in the front with a dongle along with the 2 HDMIs in the back. So you'll have 2 at 4K 60 max and 1 at 8K 60 max. You also have 2.5 gigabit Ethernet here, and I did test that a little bit earlier on my multi-gig connection here, and as you can see, we were getting what you would expect out of a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet device. It is an Intel i226V. The Wi-Fi also performs pretty well. You can see here we were getting about 718 megabits per second on the downstream and 803 megabits per second on the upstream. Now, the Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 6E only, not Wi-Fi 7, but it is running with an AMD RZ616 chipset that, as you can see, performed pretty well. So why don't we plug this thing back into power now and see how it performs. All right, let's begin with some basic work here. We'll boot up my web browser and head over to the nasa.gov homepage. As you can see, everything here is just springing up almost instantly. This is, of course, what I would expect from a processor of this era. So as you're browsing the web here, I don't think you're going to have any issues going through all of your day-to-day tasks. Microsoft Word and PowerPoint and Excel all should run great on here. This is a great system for basic work, but it can also do a lot more than that, which we'll see in a few minutes here. A little bit earlier, I did some YouTube on it as well, a 4K 60 video. And this performed as expected without any drop frames after things got started. So for media consumption, YouTube watching, Twitch, all the other stuff that's out there, you'll be able to watch high frame rate, high resolution video here without issue. And on the browserbench.org speedometer benchmark test, we got a score of 30.7. Again, keeping up with other processors of its generation. Now, it also has a pretty decent little GPU on board. And earlier I did some video editing with DaVinci Resolve with a 4K 60 project. You can see it rendered in that cross-dissolve without any lag or delay, so that was nice to see. And I dropped in another one here, and that one worked just as nicely. It does, though, of course, bog down significantly when you do more heavy-duty effects and color grading and everything. So this is not going to be a professional video editing platform unless you put an external GPU on it. But for basic work, it's fine. But you can see just how long it takes for it to render in that effect that I dropped in. It took about a minute or so, if not longer, just to get a preview frame out of it. So that's where I think having an external GPU plugged into that Thunderbolt port makes sense. And gaming wasn't too bad on this either. This is Cyberpunk 2077. We're running this at 1080p at the lowest settings. I was getting just over 40 frames per second most of the time in the bar scene here, which tends to bog things down a bit. And then when I did the outdoor scene here, we were pushing about 50 frames per second. And of course, if you went down to 720p, you could probably get around 60 for this game, of course, at a lower resolution. But not bad there, given the price point and power consumption, at least at this stage of the current market. And you can see the final results of that test there. I also did some emulation on it. So this is a PS2 emulator running Burnout Revenge. And here we were getting the full speed out of that emulator, probably with some room to tweak the graphics a bit as well. So I was very impressed and pleased with the quality of the GPU on board and the very low power consumption. And on the 3D Mark Timespy Benchmark test, we got a score of 3,458. We did see a better score out of the more expensive K13 that we looked at from GMKTec a few weeks ago with the Core Ultra 7 256V chip, but this one is performing very close to where an NVIDIA GTX 1060 or 1650 GPU performed just a couple of years ago. So it's really fun to see just how far these onboard GPUs have come. And it also doesn't appear to have any thermal issues. I ran the 3D Mark stress test on it. We got a score of 98.9%, which indicates very little thermal throttling. You can also see some of the other charts here, including the temperature, where it landed at about 59 degrees Celsius throughout that test. One thing that really surprised me about this machine is how quiet it is even under load. The fan is barely audible. You hear a slight little whir, but that is it. This is by far one of the quietest mini PCs with a fan that I've ever heard. All right, one last thing to take a look at here, and that is its Linux performance. As always, we booted up the most recent version of Ubuntu on this. Everything got detected properly, including Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and audio and video here at 4K. All is good. The performance is great on it too. In fact, it's a little better than Windows. This does come with a Windows 11 Pro license, but if you wanted to dual boot Linux, you certainly can with that extra slot there. And all in for running alternative operating systems, this is going to do just fine. In fact, it does feel a bit nicer on the Linux side than it does on the Windows side these days. So you've got some options and, of course, very low power consumption as well. So all in, I found this to be a very good mini PC despite the current market conditions that we're under. This one isn't all that expensive. It's super quiet, very power efficient, and performs pretty nicely as well. So that is the GMKTec K17. And until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.